The sun dips behind the shattered stained glass. You tighten your grip on the crowbar. Somewhere behind you, a wooden floor creaks. Slow, relentless walkers, just like the ones from The Walking Dead, could be shuffling in the shadows. You're not sure if it was the wind or something else. For the hardcore survivors, think Left 4 Dead's Blood Harvest map in real life, where the pews won't save you and the bells might bring death. For this scenario, we're dealing with the classic slow-moving walkers. Think The Walking Dead, no rage zombies, no Usain Bolt sprinters. These are the dead brought back to hunt the living. They're slow, but they never give up. And one bite, that's game over, buddy. You're hiding in a church, but is that your salvation or your grave? Let's find out here on the Zombie Survival Archive. You with the group of 5 survivors you trust, for now. The church is mid-sized, a rural traditional Protestant building with a wooden steeple and stone base, about 4,000 square feet. It has a fellowship hall, 3 small classrooms, an old kitchen, and a main sanctuary with 15 rows of pews. The roof's still intact and the walls are thick stone. Be thankful for the old school craftsmanship. The windows, mostly high up and narrow, stained glass. Most are intact, which is rare these days. You're 2 miles from the nearest town. That's a good thing and a bad thing too. There's no sign of recent activity. No smoke, no vehicles, no remains. That kind of silence usually means one of 2 things. Either it's been abandoned for months, or something scared everyone away in a hurry, and you don't know which one it is yet. You've got the basics of survival to consider. Water, no plumbing in sight, but you figured that already. But there's an old manual well pump behind the church. Could still work. There's also a muddy creek about half a mile out if you're desperate. Though boiling that water is a necessity for your survival. Food, you're getting a little low. The kitchen's got a few canned goods, chameleon crackers, and stale coffee. Not a feast, but in these days, you've seen worse. There's also a small garden plot behind the church, long overgrown. If you got seeds and time, it could be a potential asset. Shelter, another necessity. You got thick walls, a working roof, and a 2nd-story access in the steeple. That's rare. Defense-wise, you got heavy front doors and furniture you can repurpose. Pews, tables, even a large wooden cross if you're feeling symbolic. Entry points are few. No basement, but there's a crawl space below the sanctuary. Really tight, dark, but it might be usable for storage or an emergency escape. The property is surrounded by patchy woods. Trees offer cover, but also concealment for you or for them. And there's a cemetery out back. Peaceful during daylight, but at night, it's a different story. Structurally, this church is a fortress. Thick stone walls that have stood for over a century. Not the kind of place that crumbles when chaos hit. There's only 2 main entrances. That's what she said. Both old school hardwood with iron hinges. Barricading them with a few pews makes them nearly immovable. Unless the governor pulls up in a tank. They're staying closed. Windows too high for zombies to reach. Unless they grow wings or start stacking bodies, plus the stained glass distorts visibility. Zombies can't see clearly inside. Stone walls don't just hold strong, they absorb sound. Screams, footsteps, even a pan falling won't echo like it would inside of a grocery store. That could keep a roaming horde from noticing you. The pulpit platform gives your group elevation, enough to survey the sanctuary and organize defenses. A makeshift command center at the least. The steeple, like a good wingman, the perfect lookout. One way up and one way down, but that could cause issues, but we'll get to that later. Toss in a scope rifle and one calm trigger finger, and you got a crow's nest with a holy purpose. The fellowship hall and classroom offers more than space. You can divide the group. Sick from healthy, young from old, loud from quiet. That kind of control can mean everything when tensions rise. That manual wheel out back, it's not glamorous, but it's functional. Drop a 10 bucket, crank the handle, clean water, no electricity needed. You just bought yourself another week of life, and that's hard to come by these days. The kitchen, while basic, has a propane stove, cans of beans, soup, and powdered creamer. Toss in some chameleon wine, and it's basically Thanksgiving. Well, I wouldn't say that, but anyways. And there's the mental side. People believe in churches. Even post-apocalypse, this place gives your group an edge, a reminder that not everything sacred is dead, a huge plus in this cold world. But everything can't be perfect, so now here's the cons. No working plumbing equals sanitation problems, and they will show up fast. In 3 days, the church smells like death, and that attracts the death that you're running from. No electricity means no light, no heat, no way to preserve food, and no warning system. At night, your flashlight becomes a beacon for every nearby monster. Food will run out fast. What's there now? It's scraps. 2 cans of corn and some stale crackers won't feed 5 people for long. If someone in your group eats like it's a buffet, you're out in 24 hours. There's not much in the way of medical supplies. At best, you might find a dusty first aid kit in the office or youth room. No real meds, no sterile gear. If someone gets bit or bleeds out, your prayers better be louder than their screams. The bell tower is a psychological comfort until it's not. One wrong move and it's your coffin. You get cornered up there and you either jump or you wait to die. The wooden interior creaks with every step. Want to sneak around at night? Good luck. Every zombie within a mile will hear your floorboard symphony. I don't like that joke. Fire risk is real. Candles, propane, broken wiring. One mistake and your whole sanctuary is an oven. Close quarters mean illness spreads fast. If one person coughs, your whole group sleeps with one eye open. And if that cough turns into something worse, you have to decide whether to lock them in or put them down.
Please, I beg you.
This isn't a huge con or anything, but some people may think the church may give them protection because they think these zombies are demons. But they're not demons. They just want to, feast on your flesh a little bit. And spiritually speaking, yeah, it's quiet. A little too quiet. You'd expect a place like this to feel protected. But sometimes you get the feeling the church is just waiting, watching, holding its breath like you are. The collapse scenario. You're about 11 days in, give or take. You're down to crackers and hope. Rain's been falling for 2 days straight. The crawl space is flooded. The garden's a mud pit. One of your group start coughing, then another. You separate them for the safety of the group. One in the classroom, the other in the hallway. But the sound carries and morale drops. Then you hear it. A bell tolls. Not your doing. You all freeze. Outside, through a glass-stained crack, you see them. A swarm, approaching slowly but steady, drawn by the sound. Someone, or something, rang that bell and brung death straight to your front doorstep. You move fast, barricade the sanctuary, send 2 up to the steeple. You hold the door. They push, they scream, they slam. Pews slide, hinges bend. You can hear dozens of scratches on the doors. You panic. You thought this place would be safe for a little longer than it's been. It's not about survival anymore. It's about how you will be remembered. Do you run? Do you fight? Or even more fitting for the environment, do you pray? Final analysis and verdict. The church gives you a solid foundation, literally. Thick walls, limited access points, natural elevation, and psychological safety. Add in clean water from a manual well, and it's surprisingly durable. But it's not a long-term solution. No power, no food, no real medical options. And one infection or fire could end it all. Still, for a temporary solution, to regroup, heal, and plan the next moves, short-term survival for 15 to 30 days, I'd give it a 6. But for long-term survival, for longer than a month, I'd give it a 4. It's strategic, symbolic, and surprisingly defensible. Just don't let the silence fool you. You survived the sermon, but will you survive the siege? Drop your survival rating for the church in the comments and tell us where to pull up next. And if you're still breathing, hit that subscribe button before the dead do. Thank you for watching Zombie Survival Archive.